What's up, y'all? Clean Cuts the One back with another video, and today I'm here with the Stephen Putman from Old World Barbershop. And I know a lot of you guys were tuned in to Chris Bossio's live stream where he talked about his business model. A lot of you guys attended Warner Brothers, and everything that I heard about Warner Brothers was that it was a mediocre to average. It was a good event. But the thing that I keep hearing about was Stephen Putman's class and the panel that he did with Chris Bossio, along with a whole panel of amazing professionals. I wanted him to discuss some of the things that he discussed on that panel, because obviously in a live stream there's only 100 to 200 of you guys available at a time. So Stephen, thank you for having us out here. This is also a close personal friend of mine. He's been supporting me and helping me grow through the inbox section for the last 2 years. So thanks for having us. Thanks for everything, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for...
It's my pleasure. First, man, I just want to let everybody know, the reason Tyler is growing the way he grows, the reason the Clean Cut Grooming Lounge is blowing up the way they are, is he's doing the extra things that other barbers and especially shop owners aren't going the extra mile. We're 5.5 miles away from Knoxville, Tennessee right now.
5.5 miles?
Or 5.5 hours away, pardon me. So he brought in one of his newest barber, brought with him, traveled, another state away just to get some information. Now, we did some consulting on his shop and stuff like that, and because he's been the flagship shop for my business model, he's the first person I ever shared it with to apply to their business, and obviously he's doing terrific with it. But the main purpose of it was he wanted to come down here and get some hands-on training, and you just don't see that. People at his level, it's like they quit learning, they quit striving. So the humility to always be a student is something you're going to find very common between the two of us at Warner Brothers and at any of these other shows. You're going to see me in classes. Even though I make what I make and I have a very successful shop, I'm always learning. I'm still watching videos, I'm still attending classes nonstop, and this is evidence of what happens when you do that. It doesn't take 10 years to build a clientele like old schoolers, or 5 years to build a clientele. If you follow the system the right way, by the time you get out of school, you can be making money immediately. Right.
So talk to me about this. Everything that I heard at Warner Brothers was about this class, right? They said that there was some nuggets dropped, there was some gold, there was some gems, like however you want to put it. But I also heard that there were some controversial topics that were brought up, and I'm interested to hear about those. Like, what were they saying what was the big deal?
First off, I have to be careful with this right here, because in real life, I'm obviously one of the most humble, hungry students of the game you're ever going to meet. But sometimes when I'm in front of an audience, I'm purposefully provocative. It's almost, I'm just trying to spark discussion. But it's the old tale of booth rent benefits the barbers and commission benefits the owners. It's just so outdated that I have to take that challenge on, right? I have to ask what facts they have to back that up, because I have tons of facts that back up the opposite being true. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it gets spirited with the debate, but just know that when you hear me, I can be a little braggadocious occasionally, but that's for a purpose. Like, I want people to know, it's like people are so ashamed to talk about money and revenues and stuff like that in this business, and I never understand it. When I'm saying numbers, I'm doing it to inspire. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it to show someone like Tyler that it can be done. Like, you don't necessarily have to listen to these old heads who are saying that you have to take all these steps to get here, like, because I'm living proof of it. Like, following the business model and growing organically is the most proven way to build superstars. Like, it's a fact. If someone has a better way, I'm more than open to listen to it, but I haven't seen it.
Well, talk to me about that, because you said that you were talking about the new guys, right? You got the booth rent, and then you have the commission or the commission, which I've heard you talk about. Can you talk to me about the commission? What is that about?
For sure. Ray Torregano is the one who planted this seed of presenting it this way, but it's brilliant. Basically, on a booth rent mentality, and this is not to put down owners, there's no incentive. If you're paying me $150 a week, I have no incentive to help you grow. I have no incentive to market you, promote you, or cause there's not going to be any reward in it for me. So why would I spend my money or my time, which is money, on you if I'm never going to get any return on that investment? No smart businessman in the world will ever invest their time or money in something that they're not going to get a return on it. Therefore, what the commission model does, instead of just handing you a key to the shop and there's your booth and collecting, being a landlord essentially, I'm a shop owner, I'm a team leader. I'm part of the team. That's why we say this co-mission. Our mission is the same.
What is that mission?
Our mission is to grow ourselves. First off, nationally, the mission is to change and make barbering better and more profitable and restore the luster to this tremendous profession. But at its lowest form, the mission is to make money. We want to make the most money possible with the hours available. We don't want to have to work 60 hours a week. We want to be as productive as possible and efficient as possible with the time that we have allowed. And there's only one way to do that, man, and that's to give the customers what they want. Too many shops are catering their services and their hours and stuff like that based on what the barbers want to do and when they want to work and what kind of types of services they want to do. Whenever we do the opposite, we take a sample of the general population and we try to attract as many as possible. Therefore, in Georgia, we don't want to be segregated. We want white, black, old, young, Democrat, Republican, religious, non-religious, gay, straight. We want them all to be able to congregate and feel comfortable and welcome in this one environment. So therefore, we have to get rid of a lot of the standards that you see across the country that are causing these shops to be so segregated. So that's our main mission, is to figure out a way and incentivize it properly so that way, as you make more money, I make more money. Therefore, I'm incentivized to grow you.
So here's the thing. I'm a barber, right? I'm a barber at a booth rent barber shop. I'm paying $150, $200 a week. I'm hitting, right? I've got my own clientele. My people know where to come and see me. I'm doing a fantastic job where I'm at. I don't feel like I'm hurting for money. How does your system grow me? Because you're talking about commission. I'm going to be paying you more money, essentially. How are you going to grow me, and how does that work?
Very, very simple. What it allows me to do, the commission allows us to generate more revenues, and the revenues are what allows us to attract all the extra customers. First things first, my building is nicer than the average shop around here. The amenities that we offer, the chairs, the decor, the receptionist, the tracking software, the sound system, the marketing, the advertising, all those things cost money, guys. If you're only kicking in if my barber's kicked in $150 a week, that's not even the break-even point. I would literally not be able to pay my bills every month. So we have to pay a little more, but with anything else, you can't get a Lexus on a Corolla budget. You see what I'm saying? Like you can get a car, but you're not going to get this car. It's all relative. It's what you're looking for as a barber. If you're comfortable doing your own thing, sitting in that booth, then that may be the spot for you. But if you're looking to become a platform artist or own your own shop or have your own product line or become an educator or these things, these are the things that they're superstar barbers. They just don't know how to do these things. They don't have the connections. They don't have that's what I'm for. I'm the one who, when I'm interviewing them, I want to find out what their goals are, because not everyone has the same goals. And depending on how that interview goes and what their goals are as an individual barber, then I tailor the plan to them individually. So basically I show them that, yes, you're paying a little bit more, but you're getting a whole lot more that the regular booth rental shops cannot afford to provide for the barbers. That's the bottom line, is we provide a lot more for the barbers than a booth rental shop could ever, including supplies. And I mean, we get the good toilet paper, we got the gum for the kids, we got the best razor blades available, we supply the neck strips, we supply all the products that we sell and that they use on their back bar. Those are things that if I was just renting booths, I could never afford to do. And it's been proven, guys, that the customers like these things. It attracts the customers. Like, there's a reason why that all the busiest, in most cities in America, the busiest place is a franchise, like a Great Clips or a Sports Clips. There's a reason for that. It's not because they're doing better haircuts than they're doing at the barbershop down the street. It's that they're offering services and amenities that the clients want. So we need to tailor our services more based on what the general public is asking for, rather than what barbers think they want to do. Or there's a gap between the perception of what clients want and what barbers are trying to give them and force feed them.
So it's kind of like the difference with what I'm hearing you're saying is talking about, like, because I know me personally, like when I'm going to these hair shows and I'm looking at what these barbers are doing, like I get excited about that. To be honest, I want to educate. I want to be cut on a platform, on a stage, right? I want to be respected in the national barber community, just to be honest, because I respect so many barbers that, I mean, obviously that's attractive. But I noticed that a lot of times what's really important is that if I'm a barber, I'm a servant. I am a servant. That is my job, is to serve and to take care of my client. If I don't have clients, I don't have anything. And I notice sometimes that if I spend too much time looking at what other barbers are doing or thinking about this imaginary idea of what barbering should look like, I find that, dude, what's on Instagram, for me personally, a lot of times is really far away from what Joe that comes to Clean Cut Grooming Lounge is looking to receive when he comes to my barbershop.
I found it to be 90% of that, man. First off, when working for the franchise, I dug in, man. I'm reading at all their manuals and all their paperwork and all their studies and seeing how they're coming up with their strategies. They're spending lots of money on these strategies, man. They're not just coming up with these ideas off the top of their head, man. They're spending money and doing surveys and hundreds of thousands of dollars on these studies to figure out what the clients want. That the vast majority, in Central Georgia, it's way less than 10%. I'm just being courteous and a nice round number, 10% might be looking for that Instagram quality cut. But the rest of the 90%, they just want a basic, quick in and out service to look presentable at work the next day. It's for some reason barbering has gotten away from those type of clients, and that's the vast majority of your clientele or your potential clientele base is being alienated because we're only offering this. We only do it this one way. We only do this fancy schmancy 45 minutes, the works appointment, when the vast majority of the population just doesn't want to pay for that. And even if they did like it, if they come in with this picture, we know that, okay, A-Rod, here's this, it's enhanced, it's photoshopped. There was probably 3 or 4 or 5 hours into this one picture of this haircut. But we explained that to the customer, like, sure, I can do this too, but do you want to book 3 or 4 hours of my time? Because that's going to cost you a couple $100 bucks. But so generally, they may want that occasionally, but the vast majority, even the guys that 10%, most of them want just in and out, and they'll come to you for that special occasion, that wedding or that interview or whatever, but we want to capture all their haircuts. You see what I'm saying? And how do we do that was the question. How do you stay true to the barbering? Because, oh God, I get lots of that, man. I don't want to sell out. It's all about the quality, quality, quality. Well, you've seen the trophies in my cases, man. Obviously, we're putting out quality work. We have the most awards winning with barbers of anyone in Central Georgia, but we also cater to what the clients want, man. So a fine line between offering the quick express cuts and the in-depth specialty cuts, and finding that balance is huge for our success and our growth.
So I'm hearing you talk about a lot of this stuff, and I'm sitting here and it's funny because I know you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're my guy. And as you're talking, I'm like, man, this dude is like, you've really grown. Like, I'm thinking about, like, this guy is a professional. So, and the reason why people look on my channel is because there's a value, there's a level of transparency. They've watched me grow from day one, right? And a lot of my people might not necessarily know you on a personal level. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to backtrack just a little bit, and I would like for you to prove to, you know, the 7,800 whatever subscribers I have, can you prove to them that you're a student? Can you give them a history of where you come from? Kind of give them a quick day one to now. Because this has happened incredibly fast, and you can be deceived based on the level of professionalism and what you know.
And some people might, that's very important that we do this, because some people are intimidated or like, it seems like what I have is not within grasp for the average guy. Well, just know, guys, you couldn't be more of an average regular guy than me. Just 4 years ago, I haven't even had my license 4 years yet. I started off, oh gosh, first off, I couldn't cut hair a lick. And when I got out of school, I was so indebted, and I worked in a shop for a while. I struggled. I couldn't make it. I worked in a salon for a while. I struggled. I could have made a little bit more money, but the environment was just, I hated it. And I was swimming in debt. I had spent 1.5 years and sacrificing, getting in school, trying to learn how to do this, man, and it almost looked like a lost dream. So I went to work at a franchise. Like, against the advice of a whole lot of barbers online, and everyone telling me it was a terrible idea, and I was like backtracking and like betraying barbering, and like barbers don't do this, and oh, I heard it all. But I needed to feed my family. Like, the thought of making, I didn't have any customers, let's be clear. I didn't have any customers. I'd make a couple $100 a week after paying my booth rent at the most, and I needed to, 1, improve my skills. 2, I needed to improve I needed to get my face out there in front of as many people as possible. And 3rd, I needed to make some money to pay my bills. So I did it. And it was the best move I've ever made in my entire life. It brought me, first off, it showed me a totally different business model that I hadn't even considered. The volume that they were doing and the quality. Like, guys love to make fun of these, the memes on all the barber pages about great clips sucking and all that. Well, I'm gonna tell you right here, guys, and I know the barbers don't want to hear this. There's a reason why the great clips in every city in America is doing 700-800 cuts a month and doing $10,000-$12,000 a week in volume. And it's not because they suck. I mean, you can call it what you want, but you're comparing apples and oranges. There's a huge demand for stuff like that. Well, I wanted to know how to do it, so I did. And within 6 months, I built up a clientele large enough to open my own shop.
Are you suggesting that barbers should go work at Great Clips, or they should?
I've advised plenty of people to do that. I'm not gonna lie. If you're struggling, you just got out of school, you don't have a clientele, you're not getting reps, I give strong advice to go work at a franchise for a while, to get some reps. Go to the nearest franchise near your area where you plan to work and start planting that seed. And if nothing else, you're getting reps and you're getting your face out there in front of people. I had built, guys, and let's be clear, by the 6 months in Great Clips, I was still an average barber at best. That is being polite, that I had average skills. I was nowhere in the top 50 barbers in my little city. Still, at best, I wasn't in the top 50. But I had more clientele than any other barber in this town. The best barber who works for me now, by far the best barber, most popular barber in Middle Georgia, I had twice as many clients as he did in 6 months at working at Great Clips, guys. So this is something that...
So that's kind of like a cheat code.
It's a huge cheat code. And guess what? I came right out of school bringing home $500 a week. Yeah, I did 100 haircuts a week to do it, but who cares? Like, I didn't care about that. I was loving the volume. I would have almost done those haircuts for free just to get the practice. You know what I'm saying? So it was a huge, huge boon for me personally.
So I gotta admit, bro, when I hear you saying that, like, that's not something I'm trying to do. Like, I don't, when I think about just the regular barbers, and even myself, like, it's like, man, Great Clips and Supercuts, that is a really unattractive look. And that's kind of what you're not trying to encourage the industry to start working at Great Clips.
Heck no, but it's a boot camp.
What I'm hearing you say is, what are you willing to do to get better?
For sure, and I was willing to do anything.
You sacrifice your pride.
I wanted this to be my career, and I wasn't willing to let that year and a half that I had invested getting that license go to waste. I'll give you another story. I had a guy, a superstar student, a real smart guy, sharp dressed guy, could talk the talk like no one else, but his technical skills were terrible. He had like forgotten about that part in school. Like, he just didn't focus on it at all. But I think he thought he had an in on my shop and he was just going to get a job, but he got in. He just couldn't get it. He couldn't hang skills wise. I told him the only way you're going to make it, bro, is to go work at, like, go down the street and go through the Great Clips training. Go work there for a month or two and get some reps. Of course he didn't want to do it, but for a guy like me to work for me, if you're too good to do that, first off, you have no skills, you have no clients, you have nothing really to offer me other than a warm body, and you're not willing to do something like that, whatever, I'm not too good to do that. This is how this whole company was built, on my humility and that I was willing to do anything it took. So if you want me to spend time on you, what are you willing to do?
So you just said that I was willing to do anything that it took. So I want you to talk about leadership and leadership, mentorship, right? Both sides of the spectrum, because we've got mentors, right? And a mentor has a responsibility to like help somebody do. What about the mentee? What about the responsibility of, forget the mentor relationship, let's just say somebody that wants to learn. Talk about that process, what that looks like.
And to me, now keep in mind, this is stuff that's new to me, guys. Like, I was always such a hard-headed know-it-all that I never submitted to any type of mentorship, and I certainly wasn't giving any of my time to anyone else. Like, that just wasn't how I was built until the later in life. I lost everything and went to barber school, and the humility that forced me into, it gave me more responsibility. So in my opinion, before I even ask someone to mentor me or help me out or whatever, what am I offering them in return? Like, am I going to do my part? Are you just going to, because there's nothing worse than, it's kept me, and I'm doing better and I'm trying to learn, but there's nothing, I have very little free time, guys. I have tons and tons of messages every day, but I have a business, I have a young family, I have tons of stuff. My free time is very limited. So if I spend 30 minutes typing out all this long pages to you, bro, and then I look back a month later, you're still doing the same old crap you were doing, still talking the same way, still posting blunt smoking videos on your page, and like, don't come back to me, bro. Like, my time is very, very valuable. So if you're looking for someone to help you, make sure you're willing to help yourself. If you're not willing to take those steps and take that advice, then don't even bother with it, man. You're just not ready, in my humble opinion. Like,
when he says, he said it right there, that was a big thing for me, is time being the most valuable asset that we have.
That's it.
And when you're young, and when you're, and I feel, it feels weird saying that when you're young, because I'm young in this, but when you're very young, right? A lot of times the only resources, really the resources that we have to invest in ourselves, we have money and we have our time. And time is the most valuable one because that's the one that we can never get back. But when we're starting out, most of us, I didn't have money. The only thing I had to invest was time. So you had mentioned like driving 5.5 hours to come out like this. I don't have a lot of time. So we have to make the time count. Like what we're doing with our time has to, don't be wasting time. Like don't be going to these shows and not paying attention. Don't be not standing over their shoulders asking them questions. Don't let somebody come to your shop and do a demo and you're not going to ask a single question about what you're struggling with. That's something that I'm passionate about, and it bothers me when we go and we provide information or we spend our time, which is more valuable than the money we have, to help somebody, and somebody just thinks it's going to transfer by osmosis.
And they're sitting here scrolling their phone while I'm over here pouring my soul into helping them, and they're able to...
Yes.
Being coachable, I'll say this. Coming up in my 20s and early 30s, it seemed like I was the guy who I'd be like, man, I can never catch a break. I can never get any help, man. It's always me against the world or whatever. It was my attitude that caused that, guys. Nowadays, because I'm so coachable and so hungry for knowledge, everyone wants to help me. I don't have to twist anyone's arm to get advice or to get help because they know they're not wasting that time and effort is not wasted. Whatever they pour into me, they're going to immediately see the fruits of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to waste their time.
Yes.
So it makes people want to be like, well, bro, no one will help me, man. Like, no one will they don't answer my questions back and blah, blah, blah. Because when they answer your questions back, are you debating with them? Or are you just like, I hate that. Someone will ask me questions and I'll type out this long response and then their response is like a debate to my response. Like, let's get this clear, man. If you're a student, I've already been established, guys. I'm not trying to I have a 14-chair shop that'll do $750,000 in sales this year. Like, please don't debate with me on my IM when you called to ask me a question. Like, take this information and try to do something with it. Because then I'm not even opening their next reply. Like, they just sit there in no man's land forever. And that's because I don't have time I just don't have time to debate with everybody who wants to debate, man.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. Right? You talked about we're encouraging people to learn, to change, to grow, right? Do something different today than you did yesterday. What are you as a shop owner who you're coming up with $750,000 a year? That's what you're debt free. You've paid off your entire shop. You don't owe anybody a thing, right?
Yep.
You're a professional. You're a leader. As a leader and as somebody who stands in the front, people are looking to you to learn how to do things, how to be better, right? Because in barbering, we are leaders in our community. We talk about things. We're counselors. We help people. What is something that you personally, right, and I know for me personally it's hard for me to talk about some of the things, but I do it anyway. On the spot, what's something that you've been dealing with recently that you're having to be a student at and that you're having to change and work on to be better at?
First off, there's tons of things. We could go on all day about this subject. Most recently, let's be clear again, I'm not some natural born leader or like genius or superstar or anything like that, so I'm very uncomfortable still with any type of spotlight being on me whatsoever. I'm still uncomfortable with anyone listening to anything I have to say whatsoever. Therefore, besides the fact that I was a professional poker player for many years and then barbershops and poker tables, I just have a terrible mouth. I'm just not a professional. Even though I may seem professionally, believe me, this is practiced and a lot of effort put in to make me act like I have a little bit of couth about myself. I'm really just a good old boy from Georgia, and speaking professionally and being articulate and not cursing so much when I get excitable, because guys, I'm not a professional speaker. Really, I'm just an excitable dude who's like gotten lucky basically and so passionate and excited. I just want to share it with everyone, and the more excited I get, the more I lose my composure. And these are things that amongst my buddies in a private surrounding, it's not that big of a deal. And that's my only experience in leading has been with a couple of friends. So as I watch myself on these videos and hear the words, because the message is, I'm like really proud. I'm proud of the passion. I'm proud of all of it. And then the more excited I get, I'm hearing the curse words. I'm hearing and I'm just, oh God. So I'm embarrassed. Like I embarrass myself constantly. And this is not years ago. This is yesterday. It's like last week. And I'm noticing myself getting better, but I'm having to catch myself just like anyone else breaking a habit or relearning something. I have to catch myself. I have to have my friends call me for it. Like, it's going to be a process, but that's something I have to do. Like, no one wants to put me in front of millionaire investors right now. Like, no matter how smart I am, no matter how good I know this, no one's going to trust to put a guy like me in front of that until I can learn to maintain my composure. So that's a battle, that one of many battles that I'm having right now trying to grow, but that's the main one right now that's embarrassing me and holding me back from reaching places that I want to get.
Right. So we put people around us that hold us accountable, that force us to grow. It is not comfortable. I did a class yesterday with Jason Patridge, and he showed me a lot of hands-on stuff with a crop cut, right? And he was live. Like, he was live on his Instagram. This is going to be included in a vlog that I did, you know, while we're down here in Georgia. And dude, that was uncomfortable. It feels terrible to have to know, like, look, bro, this thing you're doing, it's not right. Because
we work so hard to get competent and to get that level of respect where everyone thinks we're competent. And the last thing we want to do is show people that I really don't know nothing. Like, really, I'm just scratching the surface of this industry. But to me, that's what makes you so appealing to guys like. To me, I'm only looking to do business with guys like that. If you already know everything, bro, and you can't be taught, like, I can't even hang out with people like that. To me, even the top guys, the Jason Patridges, the most award-winning barber in the state, what's he doing every single night and every day? If you see this joker at the restaurant, he's liable to have a pair of shears in his hands, drilling his technique. He's watching videos every night, he's studying, he's talking about it, he's texting me and talking about it. Like, the people at the top of the food chain are doing that, guys. If you think you're a mediocre barber and that you're going to get by just showing up to work and cutting hair and getting better and keeping up with us, it's not going to happen. The guys at the top of the food chain are constantly evolving. They just don't do it publicly like we do. So it's important, in my mind. I wish other top barbers, like, I can name some huge name barbers right now that I know for a fact that are paying other barbers to go take privates and stuff like that. They just don't advertise it. And I don't know why. I guess it's their ego and pride possibly, but I love having people, my customers love knowing that I'm traveling around the country learning things and getting things from you and bringing it back here. It's just a different strategy, I guess, man. And plus, we just come from a different place, bro. We're so new and so happy to have any little bit that we get that we're thankful for it. And the way I can show my gratitude is to not hide it. So that's a big deal to me, and I love that about you.
And well, definitely, that's what I've learned about the value that I've been able to bring has been just a willingness to be a student. Because if you look at my criminal record, you know that, like, I'm clearly learning some stuff from somebody else. Like, if I could have made my life better, I would have done it a long time ago. But I've not been able to do it on my own. So when I stop and I humble myself and I ask for help and I look for that passion and that thing that gives me desire, and I would assume that this is applicable with anything, I find what feeds that passion and that desire, and I chase it. And when somebody's already experienced success in an area that I want to be successful in, or they have that texture of tenacity and I relate with it, like, whatever they say do, I'm going to do it. Because if they say this made me better and this put me in this position to be able to do what I want to do, I'm going to do it regardless of how I feel. Because how I feel, or how I wanted to feel back in the day, landed me in jail. Like, it landed me miserable, homeless, and I know that your story is similar to that. So that's why, you know, we want to put that out. We don't want, there's a imaginary distance between the platform artist and the barber that's just down here, a student barber, whatever you want to call it. And the platform barbers, or a lot of the professionals, or a lot of these Instagram barbers, are comfortable with that distance between the student and them. But the reality is that distance is imaginary, and the only thing that's missing from it is transparency about them and their process.
I think that's what they're scared of.
We're going to walk this out. Like, we are going to do this. We are committed to following through on this process, staying students, and I'm talking about me, Steven, and hopefully, like, that's the base that I want to reach. The people that I want to hear this message is that we as students, right here, right now, can become that thing that we want to be, as long as we humble ourselves and become true students from qualified leadership. There are leaders that will pour as much of this into as you can handle. You have to find them. You have to become vulnerable. You have to reach out. And that's what I want to do, bro. I want to watch you be successful because I see you taking mentorship and I see you changing and growing. I want to watch you change and grow. I want to change and grow with you. Look, guys, I just opened up my barbershop. This is the first time that I've ever dropped this statistic, right? Based on the fact, right, with 3 barbers, me, myself, and another barber that's part-time. Keep in mind, I've hired a 4th barber recently whose schedule's already filling up. If I go based only on last month's numbers, we're looking at closing in on $200,000 this year. First year. We've been open 7 months. We're looking at $200,000 our first year. All right, guys, you're going to notice a gap in the editing. My camera shut off, so I had to stop. But continuing with where I was at, right? My first year, it's guaranteed based on statistics and analytics, and it's been based on my ability to look at what you're doing, to see the success that you've already had, and to follow that pattern, even though commission was not a popular thing. But I watched you do it, it's working for me, and that's the principle we're talking about. Find somebody who's done it, do what they do, and then get what they have. So that's the how to follow, right? People don't want to follow, they don't want to be guided, but it comes back to leadership, right? I follow you because of your goals and your ideas and what your long-term vision is, right?
And the fact that it works. I wasn't 100% sure that we could pull it off with someone else other than me doing it either, to be fair. I just believed that it was the fair, right way to do it. That's why I talked you into trying it or whatever, because I truly believed in the bottom of my heart that this is the fairest way. Now, is it going to be the most profitable way right off the bat? I believed so, but I didn't have any proof or evidence of that. You see what I'm saying? That's where you came in. But the only way it was going to work was for you to follow the system exactly. And the temptation's always going to be there to try to grow faster. That's just human
temptation.
For sure, bro.
The last instruction that he gave me, which I'm doing, I'm done. I'm already talking to my landlords. We've got a 4-chair shop. Number one, I'm looking for a place to put a 5th chair in my shop, and we're going to 12 chairs right now.
Immediately. And it's scary for him to say that, but whenever my background is in analytics and numbers, and when you don't come from that background, it's hard to believe those things. But the analytics are saying that that's what he's ready for right now, this year. By the end of this year, according to the analytics, we should have at least 10 chairs filled, and they should all be producing about 50 grand a year. The main issue with our system is for greedy owners, you might not see the results you want immediately, because for it to work the way I know it to work, it has to be organic growth. You can't, just because you have 8 chairs doesn't mean you have to hire the first 8 barbers that are willing to take those spots. For it to grow properly and to build the superstars from scratch, the key is to make sure that I have enough clients for them to make money. I don't want them to be fighting each other. I want them to be working together as a team to have ownership of the clientele. It's the shop clientele, it's ours together, it's the co-mission thing. So therefore, you have ownership in his client, and he has ownership in his client, he has ownership. It's a quality thing, and we make sure that we're all boosting each other and not tearing each other down and talking crap about each other's skills and stuff like that. There's no incentive to do that like a regular booth rent shop. Mm-hmm. It requires teamwork in order for us to build. So of course you could hire 10 guys right now and have them fight it out over it, but we don't have the business for that. So we want to make sure that they're always eating. So that's why we use the analytics to determine when we're supposed to hire. We don't decide when we're trying to hire a barber because some barber showed up that we wanted or whatever. Only the analytics tell us when it's time to grow. We have to follow that. If we want to, you don't want to bust the momentum. The momentum on a business like this is so important, and it's an overlooked factor. Like I can't wait until next year to buy my shop or whatever, whenever the momentum is now. If the market and the barbers, if I have the market and I have the barbers, then I need the chairs as soon as possible. So sometimes the decisions using the system are going to go against your gut, you know what I'm saying? But I have the faith in the numbers, man, and I have the proof and I have the evidence to show when I'm supposed to do things. And so I stay true to it.
So the purpose, just to wrap it up, because I think we're going in like 45 minutes, there's a couple of things. The first thing is that I wanted to introduce you guys to my friend Steven, right? And then I wanted you to know that this is Steven Putman of Old World Barbershop. Now I'm looking, and when I first started, you guys know I started with most of my questions in the Barber Society, right? I went back to our very first conversation, the very first communication that was exchanged, right? And you had sent me a comment just encouraging me. This wasn't about business. You were encouraging me because I said I really want to be a barber. I really want to be able to provide for my family. And this is what I said to you first. I reached out to you into an inbox, and I said, that comment you gave me so much hope. I read it again, and I'm still fighting back the tears because I know if you did it, I can do it. Every time I think about where I come from, I almost cry because I'm so blessed to be here. I'm not dead or in prison. I'm a daddy to my kids. I'll cry right now.
You're already getting me.
I'm a family man. The courts recognize my accomplishments as well as the community. People do change, and anything is possible. I've never been more encouraged in my life. It's a privilege to relate on such a deep level. Thank you so much." This was on 7/13/2015. Your response was, "Damn, you got me tearing up right now." I said, "That's that identification, bro." You said, "I just want everybody to have what was so freely given to me. I'm not perfect by any means. My life is still in disarray right now, LOL. But I've regained the trust and respect of my loved ones. When my PO came to the shop for my checkup today, he walks in and daps me up and pretends like we're friends in front of my clients. You would never even know he was there to check on me. There are well over 50 law enforcement officers who come into my shop. Many of them know exactly who I used to be. Once or twice they've acknowledged and said they were proud, but all of them treat me like a man, not the dope dealing felon that they used to know. They send their friends and children to me too. Point of this is, you'll be amazed how your community will support you when they see you striving to be better. Most people aren't haters, bro. They love a story of redemption. They, including my family and friends, just want to see changes, not just hear my words, which are worthless, LOL. Anything you need from me, don't hesitate, man. You could even come down for a few days and shadow at the shop. Hell, I got a couch you could crash on." So this is how these relationships start. This is real. This isn't a 2 years in, a shop that's supporting 4 barbers, including myself, right? Because I made a friend in the industry. He invested in me personally, and I've been following him ever since. So I needed the world to see that I'm not the only story of redemption. I'm just one of the ones that started to capture the transparency, right? But we are out here. And Stephen Putman is one of them.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a little choked up just from hearing that. A lot of people mistake, as we get more successful, they start to see me a different way, and I don't think a lot of people know that that's who I really am. The reason this consulting thing started, bro, was because I wanted to have other people to have what we have. That's all it is. Wasn't thinking of a way to monetize it, or hell, I was so scared that if I didn't give it away, I might lose it.
Right.
And I still have that fear today, man. It's like, I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy who tried, and I listened, and I was coachable, man. And that's why you've gone so far, bro. Like, you just listen to every single step, and golly, a lot of these steps are not comfortable. They're stepping out. You're finally making money, and I'm telling you, you got to spend it all. You can't, I mean, these aren't easy things to do, guys. Whenever my shop was bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and I'm still living in a 900 square foot condo, you know what I mean, sharing a car with my girl, because every single cent of the profit was reinvested to grow. That wasn't for me personally. I could have been making $100,000 a year the first year and been living great, but that was the old me pursuing what was best for me and my self-gratification, and all those things. I made lots of money, but they were always fleeting. It was always easy come, easy go. At this point, the foundation is so strong, the team around me is so solid, and they're so well taken care of that I don't think that anything could tear this down now at this point. The foundation is there. Like I can't think of any way that someone could change what we have going now. And so the fear is gone that I could lose it, but I'm still going to keep sharing, man. Like, I don't know. If I didn't have those people pouring into me, I wouldn't have what I have. There's no way I could do any of this. I'm no genius, guys. I'm not. And matter of fact, the trials and tribulations to get us this system perfected to the point where I could share it with a friend, there was a lot of losses in that.
Well, I get to learn from your wisdom, because you made mistakes, and you say, "Don't do that." I don't do that.
And I say, "Don't do it," because I did it, and I lost money, guys. Like, the amount of money that I have invested in my shop is absurd. I'm ashamed to even say it, because the initial investment wasn't that outlandish, but the losses that piled up as I was learning how to run a business. I just knew, even as the losses were piled up, I stuck to my guns. I was not going to rent those booths out to, like, that's like renting to mercenaries or bringing in mercenaries or something, man. There was plenty of mercenaries that wanted to rent these booths. It's a nice shop. But I wasn't looking for mercenaries. I'm looking for homegrown, like, teammates. Like, I didn't want to be a landlord. I wanted to be a leader.
Yes.
And that's the only way I knew how to do it, man, was to show them the way individually, to build them individually before I hire someone else. I'm not going to hire another barber until I have you squared away. until you're making money, until your clientele is getting solid, and only then will I turn my attention to him.
And you take on the responsibility. If your barbers aren't eating, it's
my
your
fault. It's my fault. Guys, I don't know. I don't want to criticize one of my friends, but this is around shops all across the country, and I just want to call you out. If you're that shop owner who is opening a shop and there's, say, 3 or 4 barbers in there, and if you're cutting 15 heads in a day, and he's cutting 2, and he's cutting 3, and he's cutting 2, you should be ashamed of yourself. Don't call me asking how to improve your business or what you need to do, because you need to look in the mirror. I promise you, from the beginning, guys, if I had 20 customers in a day, because I'm the one responsible for feeding everyone, if I had 20 customers in a day, that means I had 5, you had 5, he had 5, and he had 5. That's the way it's going to go. Sure, I could have been making 100 grand the first year. I had more than enough customers, and it was hard not to, because I was broke, man. Like, I wanted the money too, but the vision was never going to be fulfilled by me chasing my individual glory.
And my guys will tell you the same thing, because when I hire a new guy and he's only got 5 appointments and my schedule is full, we had a conversation. I told you, I was like, I don't want to lose my favorite clients, but when you're in that leadership position, you find that it benefits you. So when my guy's got 3 or 4 appointments, any client that won't refuse to sit in another client's chair, he's off.
We're going to pitch him, man. And that's how we lead, though. And the barbers see that too, and especially the ones that have been at other shops having to fight for every little piece of food, that they really appreciate it. But that's how we grow them, man. And that's how we empower them to take ownership of the clients. That's why I don't have to be there all day, every day, and I know that my customers are getting excellent customer service because it's ingrained in our environment. This is how we do it, man. It's a customer-first environment. The music we play, the verbiage we use, the language we use, the tones, like all those things are dictated by the clientele. We're trying to provide. My atmosphere isn't to attract where all the barbers want to come hang out. It's a place where all the clients want to come spend their money. That's the focus of when you're developing your shop.
So listen, and this is only in the interest of time, right? There's been a lot of stuff that we've talked about, just a lot of little business. We really haven't even scratched the surface of any type of depth. But what was important to me is I wanted to introduce you guys, like I said, to my friend Steven, right? Because you're going to be hearing about stuff, you're going to be seeing him, you're going to be hearing him talk at different things that he does, and you're going to be motivated and inspired and stuff like that, which is, that's all I care about, motivating, inspiring, encouraging, and just being a respectable, good person. That's what's important. So when you hear these things and you start getting excited, I need you to know that this guy is currently a student. He's less than 4 years in the game, felony background, everything, all of that stuff that people use for excuses have not held him back. He's still a student, he still grows, he still learns, but more than that, in his heart, he's still a dude that's trying to stop cussing. He's still a dude that's learning from his mistakes. He's still a dude that receives and takes on mentorship. Shout out to Christopher Burke, because he mentors both of us. If you don't know Christopher Burke, you need to join the Barber Society. You need to add him. He'll pour into you as much as you can take. But I wanted you guys to meet Steven Putman, right? The man. Not the businessman. I wanted you to know about his business. But these relationships are real. These people are real. And they're just as accessible to you as any other person that's walking down your sidewalk. All you have to do is reach out and ask. So I want to thank you for taking that time, man. It means the world to not only me, but almost 8,000 people that want to feel like they can do the same thing you're doing.
This is the message I can spread, man. First off, the pleasure is mine. But just how people look at me, be like, aren't you the guy that showed Tyler and all? But let's be clear. The only reason I had to give to Tyler is because someone before me gave it to me. It's the only reason. This is not a self-made thing, man. This is not some anything I could have done alone at all. So that's the reason that we have to keep it moving, man. I'm just a regular guy. I have no special talents or abilities whatsoever. All I have is a humility and a willingness to learn, and a willingness to share what I've learned. That's it. So the guys who want to keep it all in, hey, that's cool, man, if they want to do it their way, but this is why I'm surpassing them so quickly and so rapidly, and they're not even wondering how I'm doing it. That's all it is, man. I create an environment where I'm coachable and I want to learn, and that attracts other hungry people towards me to want to be on the team with me, man. That's all it is.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Also, we're really active and we're doing a whole lot of stuff. If you're not a member of the Tomb 45 Barbers group, go ahead and join that group. It's got a fantastic learning culture. We're about building each other up. If there's any tearing down that goes on, that stuff is removed immediately. And if the barber can't, we give people opportunities to change and grow. But if you don't change and you don't grow, you don't qualify for the Tomb 45 barber culture. So let's elevate everything that we do. So go ahead and join that. You can add Stephen Putman. I'll put his Instagram on there, and I'll put his name down here. Add him on Facebook, all the social media. Old World Barbershop right here in
Warner Robbins, Georgia.
Warner Robbins, Georgia. I keep saying Macon because I met him in Macon. And we hope you got something from this. If you watch this whole thing, just the fact that you sat through 45 minutes to an hour worth of this type of content says that you have what it takes.
If you made it this long, you're going to make it.
If you're having this, you've got it. Don't waste this time. It's the most valuable assets you have. Thank you guys for your support. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're not through. We're bringing more. Till next time, peace.
See ya.